Did they kill me, or did I choose to leave this world myself? History books tell of a snake. Legends speak of poison. But the truth is nothing like what any of them say. I, Cleopatra, and today I will tell you the real truth behind my death, and how this truth was twisted. Because that final decision I made wasn't just a death. It was a message that would change the course of world history. That night, as I walked through my palace corridors for the last time, none of us knew that the next day the entire Roman Empire would be telling different stories about me. My final years were years when power and shadows clashed. Octavian's armies were approaching. Antony was by my side, but fate's threads were being woven differently. Rome's grip was slowly tightening around Egypt's freedom. It wasn't just my throne at stake anymore. My honor, my legacy, and my son Caesarion's future were all in danger. Have you ever experienced such a moment? A moment when every option is bad, every path leads to a dead end. That's where I was, forced to make the final decision a queen could make. We had been defeated at Actium. In that naval battle, Antony and I had lost our last chance. Antony had committed suicide. Roman armies were at our gates. Octavian had captured the city. Now I had only two choices: surrender and become Rome's slave, or write my own destiny as a queen. And right at that point, I realized that the decision I would make about death couldn't just be a personal suicide. This was a political message, a historical statement. But there was still something I didn't know: how this decision of mine would become legend. That morning, the letter from Octavian trembled in my hands. The words written inside were the kind that would shatter a queen's heart.
Cleopatra, you will be brought to Rome. You will be displayed to the people. As Caesar's lover, you will represent the enemy's power.
When I read these lines, blood rushed to my brain. Think about it, turning a queen who grew up in palaces, who spoke 7 languages, who debated with philosophers, into an object in her enemy's circus show. Never. At that moment, I decided, I will write my own fate. But how? When night fell, the room had grown silent. Only my 2 most trusted servants, Iris and Charmian, were with me. When I looked at them, I saw the same determination in their eyes. We would take this journey together. If I refuse to go to Rome, you know what will happen.
My queen, our place is by your side, in life and in death.
Whatever path you choose, we will not abandon you.
But the real question was, how should I die? This decision wouldn't just be an ending, but also the legacy I would leave to history. Every detail mattered, because my enemies would tell this story to serve their own interests. Right at this point, a striking plan came to my mind. The asp, symbol of Egypt, the sacred snake. This wouldn't just be a method of death, but also a powerful message. But was the truth that simple? When the messenger came running in the morning, the expression on his face said everything.
My queen, Roman soldiers have surrounded the palace. Octavian is coming to see you.
My time was running out, but no one knew yet that I had already made my decision and completed my preparations. The baskets secretly brought to my palace carried something completely different among the ordinary fruits. The asp's venom was deadly, vast, and legendary, a perfect ending for an Egyptian queen. But there were other details involved, because I didn't just want to die. I wanted to die the right way. Have you ever been forced to make such a decision? Not just to live or die, but to think about how you'll be remembered. In those final hours, my thoughts weren't just about death. I was thinking about Caesarion, Julius Caesar's son, my only child. What would be the legacy I'd leave him? As a mother, my final gift should be courage. Caesarion, you are the son of a queen. Remember that the source of power is not fear, but honor. When Octavian's soldiers pressed against the gate that afternoon, I was ready. In my gold-decorated chamber, in my finest clothes, I stood like a queen. Iris and Charmian were beside me. All three of us had made the same decision. But right then, I was confronted with a shocking truth. The asp in the basket wasn't just for my death. It would also determine how world history would be told. When the snake coiled around my arm, I had expected pain. But what came was only numbness and peace. This was my choice, my decision, my victory. Rome could not capture me. Now I am free. Iris and Charmian chose the same path as me. The three of us together drew our last breaths as queens. But the story doesn't end here. Because when Octavian found me, the shock he experienced upset his plans. He had planned to make me a display object in Rome, but now all he had was a funeral. When Octavian entered my room, the words he spoke determined how history would be written.
This woman was a queen until the very end.
And right at that moment, I understood that even my death had become a victory. Because Octavian hadn't been able to kill me, he had only found me. I had made the decision. But the truly shocking thing was the details that emerged later. Historians debated for years. Was it really an asp or a different poison? Some even claimed that Octavian had me secretly murdered and made up the asp story. Let me tell the truth. Whatever method was used, what mattered was the intention. I chose an honourable end, not surrender. The asp story became a powerful symbol and carried Egypt's identity into history. If I chose a different method, that too was part of my strategy. Because I knew that countless stories would be told after my death. Some would portray me as a woman who died for love, others as a despotic queen. But I had succeeded in writing my own story. Plutarch and other historians wrote the asp story. Modern researchers questioned the practical problems. How had a snake of that size secretly entered the palace? Why had the venom's effect been so rapid? But I think they're asking the wrong questions. The real question is, why did I make this decision? The answer is simple. Surviving after Rome's victory would have meant betrayal, disgrace, and endangering my son. Even 2,000 years later, my death is still being debated. This shows that my plan worked. They remember me not just as Caesar's lover or Antony's partner, but as a powerful leader in my own right. My final words are these. Truth is often hidden within legend. Whether it was an asp, poison, or something else, what mattered was determination. As a woman, a queen, a mother, and a master strategist, I made my decision. Remember me as the queen who achieved victory even in death. I, Cleopatra. And this was the real story behind my death.